Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a Jinx Listener by me. So let's get into it. Silco had always been perceptive. It was what kept him alive in the cutthroat world of Zaun, and what allowed him to rise from the dead and rule the Undercity as the Eye of Zaun. So when Jinx started acting different, he of course noticed. She still worked on her gadgets, still carried out missions with explosive precision, still laughed in that manic, high-pitched way that unsettled even the toughest of his men. But something had changed. She was distracted, smiling to herself when she thought no one was looking. And she seemed a lot more dreamy, in a way that no battlefield or invention had ever made her before. Silco was no idiot. He knew what love was. He knew that Jinx, his daughter, was in love. And he needed to know with whom. It didn't take long to find out. The moment he saw you laughing with her in the shadows of an alley, fingers brushing over hers, your head tilting close as she whispered something in your ear, Silco knew. You were the distraction, the weakness that Jinx had let in. That night, he summoned her to his office, watching as she bounced inside, twirling a knife between her fingers. "What's up, old man?" He folded his hands, watching her carefully. "You've been busy lately." Jinx froze for a second, before her grin widened. "Busy's my middle name. Got stuff to do. Bombs to build. You know how it is." "And yet you find time to sneak off. Interesting." Jinx stiffened, the knife stilling between her fingers. "Me? Sneak off? You're being paranoid." "I know you, Jinx. I know when something or someone is taking your attention." "And so if that's the case, is something wrong with that?" "I'm only saying, you need to be careful. Your association with me, it is not something that people take lightly. It would be foolish not to take that into account." Jinx's eye twitched. "I ain't a kid anymore. I get to have a life. And you know what? Whoever it is that you think is being friends with me, they're not doing it just because I'm related to you. Because you view me as your daughter or something. Just enough of that. You're not making any sense," she said, glaring at him. And before long, she had left his office. And he was worried. He was afraid. He couldn't handle anything happening to her. And if he was the one who could stop this, whatever it was that you were scheming, whatever it was that you were trying to do with her, then he would put a stop to it, whatever it took. Jinx may hate him for it, but she'll come around. He's sure of that. You weren't surprised when Selka's men found you. Jinx had warned you that he might catch on to you, but you hadn't expected to be summoned. They dragged you to the last drop, pushing you into his office, with none of the courtesy he gave his allies. He sat behind his desk, eyes sharp as a blade. "You're the one," he said. It wasn't a question. He straightened. "If you mean Jinx's partner, yeah." His lips twitched. as if the very word partner amused him.
And what, pray tell, do you want with my daughter?
Daughter. He hesitated. He knew Jinx saw him as family, but hearing him say it so openly was something else. He cared about her. It was weird to see the eye of Zon caring about anyone with the way he was described. But he knew the bond between him and Jinx was special. You've heard her talk about him, about the way he treated her, and you were relieved to have someone love her so much. She needed that. I love her, he said simply, and Silco let out a quiet chuckle.
Love. Do you think love is enough to keep her safe? To keep you safe? Is that how it works in your mind?
He met his gaze. I'll do whatever it takes to protect her. I'll put myself on the line for her. Silco's eyes darkened.
Jinx does not need your protection. She has me.
Everyone needs someone. Silco exhaled sharply.
You think you know her, and yet there is a lot you haven't seen.
But I know her. You don't understand. He leaned forward, his mismatched eyes gleaming.
Then tell me, what happens when she hurts you?
You hesitated,
And he smirked. You know she will. She is volatile, unstable. She has hurt people, and she may continue on doing so. When that moment comes to pass, are you willing to bear it?
She's Jinx, and that's all that matters. And she doesn't have to hurt me. Why don't you believe in her? He studied you for a long moment, and sighed, shaking his head.
Just as I assumed. You're a fool.
You clenched your fists, not looking at him.
I won't let you ruin her. You will not bother Jinx again. If I see you with her, you'll have to suffer the consequences.
He said, and with that, he waved at his men, and then they kicked you out of his office. And then you had to wonder just how much you were willing to sacrifice to be with Jinx again, to continue on being with her. And how far could you really go?